All right, welcome to In the Trench podcast, and we are at the end of 2025. So happy New Year's, you guys. Merry Christmas. And today on this episode, we're going to talk about
the role of men and women in today's modern family and society, and how working together with one another is much better than competing and opposing each other.
Yeah, that's what a great topic, right, Nora?
Let's go. Yeah, we're excited.
Man, with the way that we grew up, the way that our families grew up, our background, like basically the way I was raised by a very independent woman, and I love my mom to death, and she did what she had to do because she didn't have a man that would man up. Mm-hmm. And my mom did not want to be with someone who would not man up either. So she decided to raise us on her own, did she not?
Yeah.
And then for your mom, it's a little bit different. Or do you think it's different?
I don't know. I was raised by a mom who absolutely was very hardened by life and took, she ended up getting divorced and raising kids on her own. Then she ended up getting married again. But she never, ever to this day has allowed herself to be into her feminine. She's very much the lead of the house. She's taking the front and everything. She's a very strong woman, a go-getter, but you can definitely see so many masculine traits and in so many things how she has demasculined the men in our lives that I definitely use that as something that I didn't want to so much become. But at the same time, it was very much who I was because that's what I was raised into. So much of this stuff you don't understand that is already in your subconscious when you are raised in a family like that, because you tend to become what your parents are. Like that's what you saw. That's how your subconscious thoughts are formed, opinions. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting perspective. That the reason why I'm bringing this up is that we did not have the perfect role models.
No.
And I think that's the point that I want to bring to this podcast, because we've come a long way, have we not? And I know that for me, I got to be around some really strong masculine men in my life who were gentlemen, who were leaders, next level leaders. What's funny is your dad, who was your mom's first husband, is my role model.
I know. He is definitely, I did have a role model of what a man should look like in so many
that's
aspects.
A great point.
He wasn't perfect, but he was definitely the most masculine, man-like figure that I had throughout my whole life. And it was a man that not only other women looked up to, other men looked up to. He achieved a lot in his life, and he had a way of carrying himself, and some of the values and things he stood by, the way he, would walk into a restaurant, the way he would take us shopping, the way he would, everything about him was so masculine. Which made people either love him or hate him because they didn't know how to handle his masculinity, let's say, to this day.
To this day, yeah.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to bring up was that when we have stepped more into our masculine roles, and me more into my masculine role and you more into your feminine role, we are seeing success like never before.
It's almost like we're seeing that instead of, swimming against the current, we're going towards the current, and it's becoming so much easier to navigate. It's like it was designed to be, and it's not easy. Like I don't think me and you have, oh my gosh, made it and got there. But with all the realizations that we had, that in a lot of ways, I was a lot in my masculine because that's all I knew. That's where I felt the most comfortable, because I had a hard time trusting people, and because I was around a lot of a weak man. So when women are around weak men, a woman like me tends to take the lead because she's not lazy, she's not afraid of taking risks. So we had to figure out the balance for ourselves and how to make our marriage work, parenting work, and our business and all the stuff.
Yeah, but what's interesting about the Brazilian culture is that the women are strong. In my opinion.
Very.
Like when you go to Brazil, guys are staying at home until they're 35 years old. They're being babied. Mommy does everything for them. They don't want to leave the house. They want to be next to their parents. But the women, in my opinion, are go-getters.
Yeah, and
so you kind of come from that culture.
And not only are they go-getters, they're smart, they're driven, they're still very feminine compared to, if you look like the general American. Mm-hmm. I think women they're still able to keep a lot of their feminine traits.
Oh, yeah.
Where they understand that they're women, they're not trying to do everything that a man wants to do or things like that. They are very nurturing to their kids. So
I think they're highly feminine. Let's just make that very clear, because it's great that you brought that up, because then people will think that we're thinking that the Brazilian women are masculine. There's nothing masculine about them.
No.
I just think that they're not lazy. They're mature. They're go-getters. And they're taking the lead if the man won't stand up. But they do it in the most feminine way. It's
You know who is also like this? European women.
Okay.
So they're different than Brazilians, because Brazilians tend to be a little bit more light and bubbly and all of that stuff like Brazilians. But I see that a lot in Europeans. They're very feminine, but they're very strong women, and they're very driven. They'll take the lead in areas, but they still keep so many of their feminine attributes. They're just a little bit more serious. Where we're laughing, they're
100%.
just serious. But they're very feminine. I like that. That's why I've always enjoyed the European women culture, because I look up to them. I'm like, you guys are so put together. You're so very feminine, so strong, go-getters, driven. It's kind of cool.
But at the end of the day, could we come to an agreement that men are suffering today because they want to be men? They're just not being pushed to be men. They're not having role models to show them how to be men. But deep down inside, they're miserable. They're stuck.
Yeah.
They're disrespected. Women are taking the lead when they should be taking the lead. All I'm trying to say is, don't you think that there's a crisis of men feeling disrespected in their feelings, in their emotions?
I'm going to be very honest with you right now. This is the crisis. I think with all this gender fluidity that people are trying to preach, there's no man or women. Women can do anything a man can do. Men can do anything a woman can do. And trying to, create where there's no line has created a society where everybody's lost. You have women listening to messages from coaches that are preaching for a man, and they take that for them. And you have men who are listening to messages that are for women, and they're taking that for them. Yep. So that's why you see a lot of men now. You see a lot of men that are crying more, and they're going more the therapy route, and you have to be more soft with them. No, that message is for women. Mm-hmm. I don't think that message is for you. And then you're seeing women who are listening to like Andrew Tate, and they say, go get it, go after, in general, and they are climbing the corporate ladder, and it's like, no, that message is for the man. So there's a lot of confusion. Like, one message is for me, and they're thinking that message is for every human being. And no, human beings are one thing, men and women are completely different. And what is happening right now, the reason why men are suffering, because they're realizing that they're married to man, and whether they realize it or not, they have been the ones to contribute to that. So even though they hate being married to another man, which is their wives, but their behavior is very masculine, and they are also being the ones that are making sure that happens, because they won't stand up as a man, and they don't even know how. And I understand that, because like we've talked about, we've had to figure this a lot on our own. I didn't know how even to become more feminine while still, taking the lead in areas in our family that I needed to take the lead, if that makes sense, or take responsibility and take that mantle over me.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the fact that men are hurting today. That's more what I was saying. Like, do you think men are hurting today? Like, they're deep down inside, they're struggling in their marriages, they're struggling in their life.
100%.
And it's kind of like they're just escaping. They're going to work, they're staying away from the family, or they're bottling it all in.
Well, why don't you go and talk about the fact that, because we've talked about this, what people think the happy wife, happy life is, and why that is killing the men today. Because there is a certain truth to that, but it's completely different than what people think today. So what I see around is a lot of men who are making their wives happy, and they're miserable themselves. And why?
Yeah, I think.
What are they doing?
I think there's an idea that happy wife, happy life. So I'm just going to bend over backwards, do everything my wife says. If she says, hey, when you get home, can you help me with dinner? Hey, can you change the kids' diapers? Can you go play with the kids while I'm making dinner? More example would be like where she's a total control freak over let's say you go on vacation and she's controlling the entire vacation, and or she's a control freak in everything, and you're just, okay, well, that's my wife, so I'm going to make her happy. What I'm learning is that it's actually a give and take. It's happy wife, happy life, happy man, happy life. Mm-hmm. It's actually both. Mm-hmm. So it's like you should strive to be happy yourself as a man, and I think it comes at a cost where you're allowing a woman to dictate your manhood, and then you're giving it to her on a silver platter. But and also in return, what she gives you is disrespect. 100%.
That's what I'm trying to say. She's not happy either.
No, she's miserable, actually.
She is miserable. You're miserable. So how does this make any sense? Because then you have a woman who is in control of everything about her husband's life, her kid's life. She makes all the decisions. She's stressed out. She's not happy either. So
No, and she's in her masculine, which is stressed out, which is worrying. I think the worst thing a woman could ever do is worry. And if you're giving her like worry on steroids, it's not going to be a good thing. So you take that woman who's supposed to be light and fun and giggling, or let's say she's someone who's getting stuff done, but she's in her creative. It's like, okay, I'm not saying you have to be especially, we're at a different age now. Mm-hmm. We're both almost in our 40s. So it's different than when you're in your 20s, right? Mm-hmm. When you have like, let's say you raise 3 kids or you have a teenage kids in the house, maybe that woman is less bubbly because, she's raising kids or whatever. But you still are not worried about the things that you can give to your man, that he could rest and sleep like a baby with the things that he's worrying about. That if you were worrying about those things, you would
examples.
I don't know. I don't have any
What
examples.
are some ways that if you're looking at let's be practical, Bryan. Like, I am married right now. I feel like me and my wife are both working a lot. Because that's majority of society today. You have husbands that are working, wives that are working. They're both stressed out. When they see each other, there's no intimacy, there's no chemistry, there is no really respect for one another, and they're sharing all the duties. So they both work. When they come to the house, both of them do the housework, which a lot of people would say like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But it's not. Because at the end of the day, the man is not feeling respected and women is not feeling love. And they have some resentment against one another. So what would you say, what is happening here that is wrong? And how could you change that to make the dynamic better? Because at the end of the day, that's why I said we are in a modern world. It's not like what it used to be. And a lot of women want to do certain things. And how do you make that change?
It's actually really simple in my opinion. So first thing I do is I come home and let's say my wife's like, hey, can you help me out with dinner? And I'm like, well, what are the kids doing? So the kids are doing nothing. They're just in their room watching video games. Okay, I'm going to have everybody come downstairs and they're going to learn how to cook. So now the kids are learning how to take that load off the woman. And I'm setting a boundary because I'm saying I'm not going to do this. And then everybody respects me because now I'm not doing the thing that I so easily said yes to, and I'm forcing other people to do it. So now you have a dichotomy of leadership. So now you're spreading the load out with the children. And I think moms have a tendency to just do everything. Mm-hmm. And dads have a tendency to, if they were to step in as a role model, they would force their kids to do it. Clean, cook, or they would hire someone like a nanny. Okay, we're going to hire someone to come in. We're going to pay them $15 an hour. We're going to put them in the company, like on the company payroll, and I'm going to have them work 40 hours a week. Now, as a man, I just solved the problem that was causing so much friction in the house.
Which makes me think that a man's way to solve a problem is making more money. And I think a lot of men are refusing to face that. It's like this. Husband, guess how you can fix the problem of your wife being so stressed out that she has to work all day and come home and clean the house and cook? Is by having somebody come and clean the house.
Yeah.
How do you fix that? Make more money. But don't you think that as a man, if you refuse to look at the fact that you gotta make as much money as possible as you can, and soon in your marriage, you tend to make better decisions that are gonna take the load off everybody else, especially your wife?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about, I was at the cigar lounge right before I came here, and all the guys are watching football there, and they were all employees. Mostly all of them were employees. And just listening to their stories, they all have a job. They're all in town for some kind of business meeting, but none of them are thinking of second, third ways to make money. They're not thinking about getting into real estate. They're not thinking about creating a course. They're not thinking about ways to make money. So absolutely, if guys were to man up, they would stop watching football. They would stop being like this boy that is escaping reality, and they would start to come up with different ways to bring in income, even as a family.
Yeah. And talk about too, because it comes to the topic that you said about all women are gold diggers. And we were talking about that. And you're like, you came to that realization that it's like all women are gold diggers and they should be, because that's what women need. And guys, if you guys, your perspective, what do you think about this thing?
Yeah, let me go back a little bit. When I was younger and I was a sole provider, it was very stressful to think of a woman as a gold digger, like someone who's getting their nails done, getting their, all their little stuff done, going shopping, all this stuff. But today it's very different because it's a joy for the money to transact like openly. Meaning like if I can take you to go get designer clothes and you're all happy and giggly and everyone's happy and giggly, that does something to me because money doesn't mean anything to me because I don't work for money anymore. So I think the biggest difference is, but I think what you were asking me, how do I feel about women as gold diggers? Mm-hmm. I think that this is how it's designed. I think that actually men thrive in a harsh environment and creating income, and you should be standing tall knowing that your family can live off of your riches. So I think that every woman should be a gold digger, if that's...
Yeah, and every woman, it's like they put the term gold digger. I don't like it. It's women are looking for financial stability. Women want to feel financially stable, meaning like this. They want to make sure that they can have the money to pay their bills. They're able to splurge a little bit on themselves and on their kids because it's what makes a woman happy. It's what makes them flourish. Makes them light. Like a lot of husbands, they're like, I wish my wife was a little bit more light. And it's like, when was the last time that you invested anything in your wife? And we've seen this. Like there were times in our marriage that we couldn't invest anything in us and it was heavy. In me. Okay, it was heavy. And any time that you invested a little bit, even in much, you saw a huge difference that you're like, oh my gosh, like you're so bubbly, you're so excited, so happy. And that comes back to you because now I'm a better wife too, I'm a better mother to Evelyn. So I think women were created to be a little bit spoiled, let's say, a little bit taken care of. And if men just surrender to that.
I don't even think it's a little bit.
Yeah, well, thank you.
She's being nice.
Thank you. I like it to be a little bit more. But it's just true. It's like, it's so, and if you have this woman that you love, it's the mother of your children, if you understand that the more that you invest in her, the more that she flourishes and comes back to you because now she's lighter, she's more feminine, she's feeling more confident, she's excited about life, she's less worried, less stressed out. It benefits you because now you don't have another man in the house,
Yeah, well, women work in a completely different energy that I never knew. That if you guys... I just, what I'm thinking while I'm doing this podcast? I'm like, how do the viewers take this? Is what I'm like, of course, me and you have this revelation and we have the full understanding, but how do you dumb it down to a place where people can even understand what we're talking about? And that's where I'm having a hard time articulating kind of like, how do you do this on this show? So it's like for you guys out there who are watching this, you're not going to understand what it is we're talking about. Because you are 9 times out of 10, you guys are watching this. You're an employee. You literally work for your money. So that means you have very limited resources. You haven't learned how to build a business, a machine that people work for you and they generate income and you get leads and then you diversify your income and you get into real estate and you start podcasts and you start selling courses. So this is like really hard for people to understand, right? This concept. Okay. Don't you think? Because
do you think that these men are suffering and they want a way out?
No, I was talking about this concept. Of course that men are suffering. We've discussed that, and I think that's true. Yeah. Men are suffering. But how does a guy wrap his head around what it is we're talking about if he's an employee right now? He's like, dude, I work for a living. I make $30 an hour, and I come home and I have a set paycheck, and I have to pay bills. How do I then... take that money and invest in my wife? He doesn't even understand.
And he won't.
And he won't even understand what would that benefit me.
And he won't. He has to get out of that mindset and the lifestyle.
So the truth is this message there's a truth behind this message as for the men that, dude, you're going to have to radically change your life. You're going to have to start a business. You're going to have to understand wealth, how money works, how assets work, how to build assets, how to scale assets, how to diversify your income. Because right now people are working with the currency of U.S. dollars. That's the worst currency you could ever have.
But Bryan, I think you were disregarding an important part. Like, let's say you have somebody who's making decent money, not crazy money, but has climbed the corporate ladder a little bit. they don't even understand why there's so much unhappiness in their life and in their marriages, and that it's a mindset thing, that they can change their mindset and start implementing little things in their marriage, because it's not just about money. Okay, it's not just about money. Talk about when you take your family out on a restaurant. It's about leadership. I think you're missing out the big point. Money is a part of this. We're gonna come with money, but there are things that you can do as a man that doesn't involve spending more money, but involves taking the leadership in your house and your family, with raising the kids, meaning like childbearing the kids, taking control of your children's life and being more involved, and not in the way that a mother wants, in the way that a father should. You take your family out for dinner, you take the lead. Where are we going? What are we ordering for the restaurant? There's so many aspects of this that anybody can benefit, whether it's about spending more money or not. Don't you agree?
And I think I think number one, the man who's watching this needs to understand that he has a lack of understanding of how money works. It's like, dude, you need to face that. The reason why you need to face that is because, yes, if you want to live in an amazing world where women respect you and your kids respect you and your family. We had your family come visit us. What did they say after they left? Man, Bryan is such a man.
Yeah, saying he's no longer a boy. He's not a boy. He's
I'm
a
37
man.
years old. And he was like, that was a fantastic experience.
And tell people, what did you have to do to make it a fantastic experience when my family came over? So we had my uncle, his wife, and his daughter from Brazil. My uncle is like 50 some years old, so he was there when we got married, and he knew you from when we got married. Evelyn was little, all that stuff, and then he's seeing you now. He's seen us in Brazil when we were struggling, and then in Brazil doing a little bit better, and then here. And what did you have to do that gave him that image that you're like a man?
So this is great. I think this is such a good topic. So I noticed, obviously, that, well, for those of you who don't know, because I don't know if people know, but in Brazil, there's a flex, okay? When you get around family, it is a flex, and it's fun as hell. It's the funnest thing ever.
In America, there's a flex, too.
I don't know, because I'm not a part of the American family. So if you guys are in the comment section, is there a flex? Because I haven't been around. I saw a little bit with my sister when we went to Thanksgiving. Yeah. She was like, look at my house, and I'm like, look at my house. Okay?
There is a flex.
So maybe this is all families, but it's fine. What I didn't realize is it's actually fun to flex. So it does matter. All these little things matter. Where your kids go to school, I guess, for some American families. But at the end of the day, I knew that there was a flex. So it's very important for things to be tight, for certain things to happen. So what I noticed is that you needed to have new clothes. That's the first thing I noticed. So we went out and we got you some new clothes. We got you a new purse, a little fashion purse. I think you got your nails done right before they came here. And without Nara knowing, I hired someone to come to the house, and I worked out a deal. I also got like $250 off of the cleaning service. This is what men do. And had a lady come here with two ladies and clean our whole house.
And I didn't have to think about it. I love that you took the lead. Yeah. You're like, I'm going to hire somebody. You're not going to be the one cleaning.
I didn't even tell you about it. I just said, hey. It was on the weekend. I said, this week coming up, because I know you guys are going to stress out right before they come here.
And I was. So
I'm having a lady come here and clean the whole house. Yes. And you're like, oh, load off.
Is so much better.
No, load off. It's like stress now. Because the thing about guys who are watching this is that women are not going to stop worrying. What you have to do as a man is you have to do the things that make a woman stop worrying.
Yeah, because it's like that meme that people say, like, stop doing everything. It's just like, and if I stop, who the hell is going to do it? So we need to know, if I don't clean, somebody's going to clean.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, this is typically how a man thinks, is who cares if the house is dirty?
Right.
And it's like, okay, because guys, I do care. I care very much, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But as a guy, I can understand that you're just like, whatever, it is what it is. The house is dirty, so what? But the truth is that you would never rest. You would have never simmered down and felt bubbly if the house wasn't immaculately cleaned. We cleaned the sheets. We put them on new bedspreads. I mean, the house was immaculate. It was so clean. Okay. So designer clothes, new purse, nails done. That makes you feel pretty around your family, right? Because you're like, I'm about to see them. The house is completely clean. I made sure that I had all the time off to be with the family. Right, which I think is also very challenging.
Yeah.
In this.
So I didn't have to host them the whole time alone. Like, it's a lot.
We packed our fridge full of amazing food, and then we just made sure everything was organized to pick them up. So we picked them up. They had a good time. We kind of had everything planned out where they could really enjoy their time here.
And you were kind of like planning things too. Like you
Yeah.
said, hey, let's go to Gallenberg. And you completely took the lead on that. I said, oh, yeah, that would be cool. Like we went on one day, came back the same day. But I didn't feel like I had to plan it. Like you figure out and you took the lead. You decided where we're going to stop when we got there.
Yeah, so
That's awesome for a woman.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit. So we have 2 vehicles right now, and we have a small family. We have three of us and a dog. So me, you, and Evelyn. Okay, so we don't need massive vehicles. So all of our vehicles fit about 5 people.
Yeah.
Actually both. So they had 3 people and we had 3 people, so there's 6. So everywhere we go, we have to have 2 vehicles, and we didn't want them to rent a car because they're in Brazil. They're in the Brazilian currency, and it's through the roof.
Yeah.
It's like spending 5 times the amount here. So we're trying to minimize costs for them. So I said, and I knew that the women who were, part of your uncle's family, that they wanted to take photos. They want to go and do these girly things, right? So just going to Gatlinburg and experiencing that, I knew would be cool. So it was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then being in a Brazilian family, everybody wants to be in one car.
Everybody likes doing everything together.
Yeah. And
it's
not fun.
weird to be in 2 cars.
It's weird to be in 2. It is like, it almost takes it away.
Yeah.
It's very offensive to the Brazilian culture. You're going to all have to be in one car. So I'm sitting there at night right before I decided to go. And I'm like, I'm going to look at I had a whole bunch of points on my rental cars on one of the companies I use. So I pretty much got the rental for free. I got a van. And I was thinking, okay, I got to go to the airport and get this car. So what am I going to bother my wife at 4 o'clock in the morning to go get this car with me? And now I'm stressing you out. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Because now you have to get up early and you have to stress about picking me up at the airport and going there. So it was real quick. I got an Uber, took me to the airport. I picked up the van. I brought it back. It was sitting here and you didn't even know it was here.
I woke up and you're like, hey, I have a new car sitting outside. That's how we're going to go to Gallenberg. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
done.
nice.
I didn't pay for it. So that removes stress from the woman. It's like it didn't come out of our
That's
account.
what I'm saying. Like I think like this time you really took the lead on everything. And what you don't realize is that not only did we have a better time, you had a better time as well because you took the lead. Because at the end of the day, you're like, I know this is better even for me.
What I'm realizing is that men do not want to compete with a man in the house. I don't want you to be challenging me. I don't want you to be like trying to have a man conversation with me. It's very unattractive. So if I'm manning up, because here's what I want the audience to understand is that you want to run a smooth home. Because I think men are going to misunderstand this. They want women to be okay with not getting their nails done, not getting their hair done, not wearing designer clothes, right? Mm-hmm. Living in a cheap house. This is what guys want. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does, of course.
But what guys have to do if they want to man up is they have to realize a woman's world. And it's clean house, everything organized. All of the things you think about are handled. So a guy has to almost get into a woman's world and be like, if I was my wife in charge of this event, how would it go? Now I have to take that and be like, okay, now I got to step in and do all those things.
Like you take into consideration the things that we want to do. That's what I think is amazing. You're like, you were thinking like the girls will want to take pictures here, so I'm going to do that. So it's a give and take. Like it's not like you're taking the decisions and making anything that would be fun for you. You're like, no, I'll make it fun for you guys, but I also make sure it goes smooth for me, and you're not worried.
Dude, guys, what I'm realizing, Nara, is guys don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if we go to Gatlinburg and I sit there in front of you guys and you take photos. What we want to see is that feminine frequency all around us.
And women do care, and they have certain things that they want to do.
But if a guy makes a fun experience for a woman, that's all he wanted. And he didn't realize that. But to see you guys laughing and giggling and taking photos and feeling pretty, that's actually all I wanted. I don't care what we do. I don't care what we eat. I don't care what car we drive. I don't care where we go. That's a guy. Guys don't care about none of that stuff.
And for women, it's like you have to relinquish control. You have to let go of control. You have to stop wanting to take charge of everything, doing everything your way, and literally allow your man to lead. Even if it feels awkward in the beginning because he's not used to, you have to allow him to lead more and more so you can remove that weight from your shoulders and start being like, oh, I'm not going to worry about this. Like, I'm just going to have fun. I don't care. Like, he's got it. Because I remember there were so many times that I would be worried about, like, did he get it? And now I'm stepping to this frequency where I'm like, I don't care. It's his problem, not mine. And that's a good feeling for a woman. And a lot of us, because we're hard workers, we're not lazy, we're like driven. Like me, I have a lot of leadership skills inside of me. So you have the tendency, but if you just let go, because that's his department. I don't need to lead everything. Like, stop.
Actually,
and you
it's
just relax.
it's the most unattractive thing for a guy is for a woman to take charge in front of him. It's like, I got it.
Yeah.
And a guy does it gracefully. I feel like when a woman gets in charge, she doesn't do it gracefully. It's almost like she's struggling.
Yeah.
Where a guy, if he's fully in his masculine, he takes care of things.
And what is the most unattractive thing to a woman is just seeing a guy who is refusing to take the lead, who is just like, I'm comfortable like this, whatever you guys want, whatever you want, I'll do this. And it's like, do I have to make all these decisions?
Don't you feel like I was like 5 to 6 steps ahead of everyone?
Yeah.
Even like we were sitting here one night and I could tell nobody wanted to cook. And I was like, are you hungry? And I did ask, are you guys hungry? You want something to eat? And I realized like everybody was like, no, we're good. And I thought for a second, I'm like, I think I told one of the, Crease.
My aunt.
Your aunt. I'm like, but if I cook, you guys are going to want to eat. So I just got up and I cooked everything and everybody ate.
Because what you realize, like, everybody was tired. And we're like, do we really want to cook to eat? Because it was kind of late in the night. We had a late lunch. So it's like, we're a little bit hungry, but we can just snack and go to bed. And you're like,
so I cooked this famous meatballs that I get.
Delicious.
The best pasta sauce, asparagus. I did this all by myself. I didn't ask anybody their opinion. I didn't say, hey, what do you guys want to eat? I just cooked it. Everybody started eating, and then before you know it, your aunt was drinking wine, you're drinking wine. She started cracking jokes up.
It was so funny. She was like the happiest I've ever seen. Her husband's like, hey, stop drinking the wine.
Yeah.
She was having a good time. We're laughing, sharing stories.
But that frequency is what guys like.
Yeah.
So if a guy mans up, what you don't realize out there, if you guys man up and you start to really be responsible in leading your family, your wife's going to get on board with your mission. I think this is what happens. If you're like, hey baby, I'm going to start transitioning to a family business. I'm going to start learning, educating myself. You're going to see that woman get on board with you. And then she's going to see the benefits and the fruits of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think.
And here's what I would tell women is stop expecting your husband to be another woman. Is stop expecting your husband to be a mother to your kids. Stop expecting him to be like your girlfriend, best friend. Is stop expecting him to do something that your mom would do for you and the kids. That's the biggest problem. I think women need a community of other women, and because they don't have it right now, they expect everything from their man. It's like
it'll rob his soul.
Stop it. And you are lacking of this nourishment inside of you. You want to have maybe this conversation that is like for women. I'm not saying like you're my partner. There's a lot of things that I do with you, share with you. But the more that I allow you to be a man and expect less manly things for you, like things that are for a woman. So for example, like I was reading this book. If you have not yet, and you're a woman, you want to understand what's going on and feminism and all of that. I got Candace Owens' new book, Make Him a Sandwich. And I was reading the book, and it clicked to me. It already made so much sense, but I love the way she put it on. She was sharing a story of when she was postpartum, and she's, her baby's 2 months, and she's like in the shower. She's exhausted as hell. She's wondering like, can I make more milk for this baby? Oh, I got to take the other milk that is frozen out of the fridge. Oh my gosh, I got to buy him more diapers because we're running out of diapers on here. That's all she's thinking about. Taking care of the baby stuff. And then her husband, she comes out of the shower and her husband comes to her and say, hey, sign these papers here. And she's like, what is this? She's like, he's like, this is a life insurance trust for our son that I need you to sign because, the younger that they are, the better, blah, blah. And she's like, you thinking about that? And she's like, you thinking about his future, like life insurance? I'm here postpartum and I'm thinking about milk for this baby and all this stuff. And how they were both she was being an excellent mother and he was being an excellent father, because that's how fathers think. They think differently. They think about the future. Moms are thinking about the present and what they need to get done now. So this is what she said. She said that she looked inside of herself. She's like, how come I wasn't thinking about that? She's like, am I being a terrible father, a terrible mother? And she's like, no, I'm being a terrible father. That's why I'm not thinking about those things. And she's like, is my husband being a terrible father for not thinking the now of me, the baby and the milk stuff and the diapers? No, he's just being a really good father. He's being a terrible mother. And that clicked to me. It's like, Oh, so we are expecting fathers to be mothers, and they're doing a poor job at that, because they will. They will do a poor job at changing the diapers. They will do a poor job of bathing the baby. I don't care what you say. There's always going to be an exception. Oh, my husband does amazing at changing the diaper. He's better than me. Okay, whatever. But I'm like, the normal biology mothers, you should be completely close to your children and nurturing and all of that, and your husband can help, but he's never going to do the same job as you, and he shouldn't, because he's a man, right? And you're never going to be postpartum, Brian. Me 2 months in, thinking about a great business idea that I can do, a great way of making money, because we have a baby here, and that baby's going to grow and it's going to need to go to college or whatever it is. Do you think I'm thinking about that? And if I was, I would be a terrible mother, because that means that I'm not taking care of the kids in the way that a mother should. So do you see how it aligns perfectly together? She's thinking of the now, he's thinking of the future, and we need to start separating that. In America, it's like, let your man be a man and be a great father to your kids, not a mother. You're not supposed to come here and pat the kids and pat them and just like have a talk with them. And it's like, no, the father is going to come in and be a dad, and a mom's going to be a mom. Like when our kids get disciplined or kids get hurt, who do they go to? The mother. Like, come here, babe. Like, I'm going to nurture you. You're okay. You're fine. Like, you see it? What I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I would drive this message home to the women. If there's women watching this podcast, it's like, stop having your husband be a mom. You want him to hang out with the kids. You want him to help you with dinner. You want him to help you change diapers. You're having him step into a frequency of femininity. And it's the worst thing you could ever do. It's literally castrating your husband. I would actually go as far as to say, leave him alone. If he comes in the house and he doesn't want to do anything with the kids, probably go inside of yourself and understand that that guy is extremely castrated. Because, like, for me, I love disciplining Evelyn. Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. But what's one thing you've never made me do ever? You've never made me mother Evelyn.
Yeah.
I've always felt like the Brazilian culture, you guys love nurturing.
I'm like, this is my kid. I'm going to nurture her.
And you take
I
ownership.
took pride of that even when she was a baby. I'm like, nobody's bathing my baby. Nobody's changing her diapers but me. Like,
and I noticed that when I was in Brazil, because I spent a couple years in Brazil, that we would go to an event and you would leave me in the dust. Like, I would show up and it's like, boom, you're going over to the women. But what's funny is the guy would come up to me and say, let's go sit over here with the men.
Immediately.
And the men were with the men and the women were with the women. And it's a very different frequency. If I look over across the room, because I'm not speaking Portuguese, I'm noticing there's this laughing, 24/7, gossiping or whatever you guys do. But there's a frequency over there that I want no part of.
Yeah.
Then over here, we're smoking cigars, drinking whiskey, and we're talking about 9 times out of 10, we're talking about politics.
Yeah.
We're talking about, guys are talking about sports. They're talking about, I like to talk business, so I'm always talking business. But it's always deep, in-depth, stressful conversations to a woman.
More sobering, more like, it's true.
It will suck the wind out of a lady. And you noticed it when your family was here, that I had some hard conversations with your uncle that he loved. But the women, they were almost out of energy.
Yeah, and I was translating too the whole thing. I'm like, oh, Lord. And he was loving it. It was really hard conversation. You were being like, almost like very mean to him in a way. Meaning like this, you're telling him the truth and nobody's telling him. And he was... And me and her were like, can you guys, like, this is becoming a bit too intense for me.
Yeah. So if you go to an American party, because I think women need to hear this, you go to an American party, all the women want to stay with their man. They want to follow them around the house. They don't want to leave their husband alone. So he can never be with the men, and the women never be with the women. So you see this isolation in America where women are not getting together. So that's why they're forcing their husband to be their girlfriend.
To be their girlfriend.
Their kids are their girlfriends.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So there's not this shift where a woman is like, I'm the mom, and you know, in Brazil it's like, I saw it with you. You're like, Evelyn, get up out of my face. Like, you better go to the other room.
Yeah.
Well, I see with American women, they'll never do that. Well,
and you know what's funny too? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, because it made me think of 2 amazing things I want to share, and they all happen at the same time, the same day. So we're here walking on 12 South, and Evelyn was with me, and there was this mom that crossed the street with her kids, teenagers like Evelyn's age. And the mom, I kind of saw like when they were closer to me. I wasn't paying much attention, but Evelyn brought it up to me, and the mom was really trying to be like, oh my gosh, we're like best friends, and you're my best friend, and I'm a teenager like you, and we're in the same world, right?
Unbelievable.
So it was kind of like that vibe, and they passed by us, and Evelyn looked at me. She's like, Mom, I can't stand those moms who really are trying to be the best friends with their teenage kids. And I'm like, tell me about, like, what do you mean? She's like, this mom, she's being like very annoying. She's trying to get to the level of the kids and talk like them and be like them. And she's like, why? I don't get it. And the funny part is that me and Evelyn are really good friends. Like, meaning like this, we have a really good relationship. Like, we love each other.
Let's take that down a second, because I want to explain this. You guys are not friends at all. Almost
Yeah,
zero.
we're not friends.
But you guys have a bond of mother and daughter. And this is a very Brazilian thing. Like, your aunt and her daughter are very bonded, but I don't see them as friends.
Yeah,
it's a mom and daughter relationship.
It's a mom and daughter relationship. Like, there's a level of respect that I don't like Evelyn to cross. I don't cross with her. Like, I am your mom.
But there is a bond.
But we're so close.
Yes.
Like, we're so close. But I never try to be Evelyn's little friend. I'm like, I may goof around with things. Never. You're never going to see me like I see a lot of these moms. So it was just interesting that Evelyn saw that. And Evelyn, she also doesn't like that. She wouldn't like if I was here and her friend is over and I'm trying to be all girlfriends with them. She'd be like, Mom, what are you doing? Be a little bit weird. So that's also those traits of, I think, like, if you step into you being a feminine woman and now you're growing, you're a mom and all those things, and you tap into the nature of who you are, that's how the relationship is going to go. Because, like, your kids don't need to be your friends. Go get girlfriends.
I actually think a woman, like, if an American woman's watching this podcast, it's like, you need to get friends. You need to build a community. I don't care at all costs. Your husband's not your friend. He doesn't want to be your friend either. I don't think people realize that. Like, me and you have an amazing relationship. We're very bonded too, but we're not friends. Mm-hmm. Like, typically...
We're friends, but not in that way.
No, I'm talking about, like, I've seen you with the girlies.
Oh,
it's nothing like that with me.
Sure.
But I do see with American women that when I'm around them, it's like I'm with the boys. Like, why is this woman participating in this meeting with us? Why is she acting like me? So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, when I'm around you, you ain't acting like me. I'm not with the boys. And I think American women want to be that close to their husband where they're one of the boys. And it's like, I think the best thing I could ask for American women is, like, stop trying to be with the boys. Start being girly. If you're masculine, go down the road of being feminine. Go down the road of seeing your man as a man and separate yourself from him and be like, he's a man, I'm a woman.
Embrace being a woman. It is amazing being a woman. It is fun. It's okay to be bubbly. I know, like, most of these women, like me, have had a really rough upbringing from a mother that was really rough and really strong and really tough, and maybe they went through hardships. Like, I went through a lot of hardships in my life where I realized, like, nobody was there for me and I had to figure it out. So I understand where these women come from, but what I want them to tap into is that they don't have to continue down that road, especially if they have a man in their life. Like, I have a husband, like, I can relax now because I don't have to take care of everything because he is taking care of everything. So embrace that and enjoy tapping to laughing more, having more fun, being more light. And it's going to require you to do things that you're not used to. Yeah. It's going to require you to say less when you normally say a lot. It's going to require you to, like, when you show up to a restaurant, you don't take the lead on everything. You stop and you be quiet and you're like, I'm going to say less. I'm going to let him lead, all this stuff. And it's so beneficial and so beautiful, which takes me, I want to share the second thing I want to share, that this happened. So 2 days before Christmas, again, we're on 12 South here in Nashville. If you're in Nashville, you know. It was the same day. We're walking, right? And you can describe your experience. I'm walking on the street and I just see this woman with her friend, chit-chatting, like, really pretty, really good vibe, walk past by us, like, literally next to me. And then I'm looking, I'm like, and I'm touching Evelyn. I'm just like, and Evelyn was like, I'm like, that's Candace Owens. That was Candace Owens. Literally walking right past us. No security, no nothing. She was just so pretty, beautiful. She had this aura about her that even you described later. She was just so light. I got the vibe that Candace Owens was like such a down-to-earth girl and so light. She's there with one friend. That's all. And they're like, and she's walking. It was just like that.
But it's funny. She had a friend.
I know. She was being super bubbly with her girlfriend. walking like nothing is happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Candace Owens. Like, we were so excited. And I kept looking back and I was like, well, one thing, I definitely realized that that girl is stepping to her feminine, because you cannot deny. You know,
And it's so attractive.
it's so attractive. She looked prettier than you would see on a video, because you actually saw her behavior. That's what we saw. Usually she's on the podcast just talking. I saw her walking, talking, all this stuff. She looked so pretty and she looked so girly. And second thing was that made me think, which is completely outside of that. I'm like, are people playing a game with us? Because I'm like, if people are really trying to assassinate her, where is the security? There was no security around her.
No.
She's just walking around Nashville with her
As far
friend.
as we know, right? As far as we know.
Okay, not close to her. If they were,
Wasn't
like
walking
2 blocks
with her.
away.
I was actually thinking.
There was nobody close to
What
them.
I was thinking, though, too, like, just off the top of my head, I'm in 12 South and I'm walking with security. Don't you think that would get attention?
Yes, I do. But don't you think that your security I mean, if you want to be protected, anyway, there was no security. Candace, you didn't have security. We
Zero.
saw it. Zero. So I don't know. But anyway, it was kind of cool to see, because, you know, I definitely recommend you guys read her book. She talks a lot about feminism. I'm like halfway through, and it's so interesting. But you can see a person like Candace Owens, who was very strong, very driven, took the lead of her life, right? And then as she got married, you saw she became a little bit more soft, more feminine, relaxing, and she stepped into that because her husband truly is taking the lead in so many things in her life that it allows her to still work, because she works. She's not a stay-at-home mom that does nothing. She works, but she's doing what she loves to do, and is keeping her feminine and alive and light. You know.
Yeah, what I want to say is, if you want to supercharge your life and you want to have an amazing marriage and you want to have an amazing life, there's nothing more attractive than a woman being a woman and a man being a man. Would you disagree?
Yes. I
My
agree.
sister, we went to see my sister for Thanksgiving. She is a very independent, strong woman. And she was telling me what it was like to be in the dating scene. She's like, basically, you get with a guy and you're already taking care of yourself, and now you have to take care of this guy. So now you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of this guy, and you have to pretty much deal with a man. Leaves clothes around.
With a boy.
Well, I'm just saying, a grown ass, like a 40-year-old boy,
I
whatever you
know.
want to call it. But now you're dealing with his laundry. Now you're dealing with cooking and feeding him. And you're also dealing with everything that you have to do.
Yeah, you're probably still paying. Like, when you go out, you got to pay for,
50-50 probably nowadays.
50 something.
But I was telling her, so what would it be like to be with a guy who has real estate, who has maybe a couple businesses, who maybe has, like, maybe he upgrades your life. So, like, your life is living in an apartment, and then you get with a guy who has a 5,500 square foot home. He has a car for you immediately. He takes you shopping. So it's like, what kind of woman do you have to be with that guy? Do you think he wants someone who steps up to the restaurant and is like, table for two? And he's like, table for two? What the
No.
fuck are you talking about? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's not going to want that.
What does he want? He wants feminine energy.
Yeah.
Does he not?
Yeah.
So my sister was basically saying, I don't want to be around somebody I don't want to be around a boy. I'd rather be by myself. But I'm like, but do you have to settle for that? Or can you get with a guy who owns multiple properties, who can actually upgrade your life? So to follow back what you were saying about being a gold digger, how can you sit here and tell me as a woman that if I'm in my feminine and I can get with a guy who upgrades my life immediately, I get to drive a better car, I get to go on better vacations, I get to drive better, I get to wear better clothes, I get to get all the stuff you guys get done on your face, all the makeup. How is that not attractive to a woman?
Very.
No, but tell me, like, why would it not be? In what scenario would that not be good for a woman?
That'd be great.
But just tell me, what scenario would it not be okay?
The reason why women, I think, first of all, they don't believe it. I think that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if that truly happened, let's
I
say you
already
don't
said,
believe.
it's great.
But in what scenario is it not great?
I don't know.
Ever. It's never not great. You can't tell me there's the woman on the face of this earth that if there's a guy who was truly going to provide that she'd be like, no, it doesn't sound good. That sounds miserable.
It's awful.
Right?
Yeah.
There's just no way in hell. So for guys out there, this is what you have to do. So it's like, there is no getting around it, is what I'm trying to say. If you want to have an amazing marriage, an amazing life, the man has to man up. You have to man up. You have to understand wealth. You have to understand assets. You have to understand how to lead. You have to understand like all these little things or you're never going to have it. Because the woman can never be feminine without the man first being masculine. It's impossible. You could never be feminine until I became masculine. You can't do one or the other.
The more you become more masculine, the more feminine I become. It's
I
natural.
think it's without...
It's natural.
It's like for you, your family came up here, you have a big, beautiful home, you're driving a nice car, you have designer clothes, you got a nice new purse, you got your hair done. Like, how can you be masculine? In what world?
It's hard. It's true. And then talk about the fact too, because you said, hey, Nara, for the longest time, I thought that just by being married to you, being a father, I should be treated with such respect and honor and all that. And you realize that it had to be earned. That it's not just a title that you're given and all of a sudden things change. Talk about that.
I actually think that there's something beautiful with a man that, because I had to go through hell to get here. Would you disagree?
Yes.
I had to learn. Actually, what's funny is I had to get on testosterone. So let's just talk about it. I had to get on testosterone. I had to build a business. I had to scale that business. I had to understand sales, marketing, leadership, closing deals. I had to understand how money works, how to manage money in a way, because employees, they don't understand that you get a paycheck and you manage bills. When you're a business owner, you don't care about bills. You're managing cash flow. You're looking at the profitability of the business. So sometimes you don't pay bills to keep the profitability. And employees would never understand this. So you have to learn that world. Well, the woman, during that process, you started noticing vacations. You started noticing designer clothes. You started noticing a better house, right? That was as a product of me manning up. So you are experiencing what it's like to be with a man. So as a return, that's earned, because I would have never been able to provide you that without first manning up.
True.
So that's all there is to it. So back in the day, I wanted you to respect me. I wanted you to honor me. I wanted Evelyn to respect me. But the truth is, Evelyn and you did not respect me until I became this person. So let's look at what I did. So I built a business. Then I started going to the gym. Then I started reading books. Then I started taking courses. Then I started getting into better rooms. Then I started looking better. All those things resulted in you respecting me.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like guys like me, if I was single, I could take girls from guys because you're a man and I earned that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Sure. Except the fact that you're going to be taking girls from guys.
I was saying if I was single. It's fine.
Exactly.
So I think that
No, it's
all
true.
I'm saying is it's earned.
And let me tell you something.
Hold on, like Andrew Tate, does he not take women?
Yeah.
Is it even a battle for him? But did he not earn that?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I guess at the end of the day, I wish that we could sit here and I think women are attracted to men.
Yes, and men are attracted to women.
And women
That's
are
why
attracted.
there
Men
are
are attracted to
women who
women.
get in the dating scene, and when they're very feminine, they have way more options. When they're leveled up, they're smart, intelligent, they can keep the feminine, they're loyal. They're gonna have way better options as a woman.
Because a guy doesn't want to argue with a woman.
I agree.
A guy doesn't want to have a next level man conversation with a woman. He doesn't want to be like put in his place. You know what I'm saying?
And we have struggled with that a lot, where for the longest time, you were trying to have those next level conversations
100%.
with me, and you were very frustrated that I couldn't think like you.
Yes.
And although it helped me, because I'm like, it actually was very helpful because you helped me change my mindset and all of that. But the biggest frustration that we had is that I realized that I wasn't a man, and you wanted me to be a man. Meaning like this. You wanted to have a business conversation with a man, but because you didn't have that man next to you, you were having that business conversation with me, and then you were very frustrated in that business conversation. You wanted me to be more feminine, but you didn't realize, like, dude, this conversation is probably not for my wife.
Yep.
Like, I should probably have this conversation with another man, and it would go easier, but because it's my wife and she thinks a little bit different, she's going through all these layers that I didn't want to go into, right? And we had to realize that, but it wasn't until, very recently.
Because I wanted to bring up a topic that I think is very important. Andrew Tate is sending out a message to men about the type of women that he's with. But is he with a married woman?
No.
So he's talking about girlfriends. And I think girlfriends is a completely different subject than any real person, any man who's talking about feminine and masculine. It's like, Andrew Tate, you have girlfriends. You don't have a wife. When you put a ring on that woman's finger and you don't make her sign a prenup and she has leverage over your empire,
Everything changes.
okay, your idea of a woman is going to change. So this podcast is more for the women who are married.
Yeah. And we're building everything together. We're building our whole family legacy, all of our business. Guys, everything that we do together. We just have different departments.
But it's different than a girlfriend.
Yes.
Like, you're not my girlfriend.
Exactly.
So I think what's going to happen on this podcast is that women are going to get the wrong idea. It's like, okay, if you're a woman and you're married, what I've realized with you just recently in the change of our business is that I'm going to keep you in the feminine department of our family business. And what I never realized is if I did that, we would create more income.
Mm-hmm. Because
way more income.
Yeah.
But if I have you in the masculine department, which is very frustrating, it's very intense, it's very harsh, it's very hard like, me and the men have very hard conversations and we leave energized. Where if I have that conversation with you, you're sleeping in the bed for 2 days.
I feel so defeated.
And you are defeated.
Yeah.
So for men and women out there, it's like this conversation is more of a grown-up conversation, because I think the men who are reading this are like, yeah, I want to have a girl who's feminine and submissive. It's like, you're talking about a girlfriend. This is not for the married women, okay?
And a woman in her almost 40 years old, like me. I'm almost 40. It's like, I'm a very different woman than I would be when I'm in my 20s, okay?
Yeah,
so
and you're not contributing whatsoever. You just have this I'm going to be very honest with you. It's like, if this message is for a man who has a woman who's building an empire with him. Mm-hmm. And it's the woman is very involved. So we're not saying on this podcast that a woman's not going to be involved. We're going to say, if you want to have success with your wife, the woman that is the mother of your children and is doing business with you, because it's not separate.
Yeah.
I think so many people think it has to be separate. It's like, you're heavily involved in the businesses that we're part of.
Is different departments. That's what we learn. It's like, I'm heavily involved in what you're doing. I'm part of it, especially because of the fact that I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I want to be part of things. I have a lot of skills about me that I can help run the business.
Well, you're one of, like, everybody. If I were to vote with our team, with our family business, you're one of the most valuable members of the team. So I think guys who are watching this would say, "Oh, a woman's not valuable," like Andrew Tate.
Right.
Andrew Tate would say, "Oh, get the little dingy woman out of here," but you're the most valuable. So it's like. So it's like, I want that to be, for men who are watching this, to be like, if you're running a service-based company and you want to involve your wife in your business and your family business, it's totally doable. She's just not a man. And if you put her in the feminine department, she's going to blow your company up.
And understand that you're going to have some conversations that is more like, you and the boys need to figure this out. Don't bring it up to her, because it's unnecessary. She's going to stress over things and the truth is, you don't even want her input for that.
No.
So it's like, let me figure this out. Hey, honey, we figured this out. This is what we came to the conclusion. Oh, that's awesome. Because I still have things to deal with in my department that are a little bit stressful. But there are things that are like, I don't even want to know.
I feel like you handle
more
it,
like this. Tell me when you fix it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Hey, this problem came up. This is what we ended up doing, but now it's fixed. Oh, thank God. You see how that sounds so much better?
No, because as a woman and you're feminine, you are like, we're getting 20 million views per month on Facebook. We're getting 2 million views on Instagram. We have exponentially blown up our company. People are knowing us, and it's because of your feminine department.
It's true.
That department is ran all by women.
Yeah.
And our communication, like our feedback for communication, like we're getting feedback all the time, is that it's on point. Oh, the women in your office run it. But our office is very feminine. It's, you know how you reach out to like service-based companies in America, and it's like a woman who has a dip in her mouth and she sounds like she smokes 20 packs a day. She sounds like a man.
Yeah.
That's a very masculine woman.
Yeah.
But our department is very feminine. Like the woman who's in charge of handling the phone calls is very light. She's sweet. People love that stuff. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The email communication. We have a newsletter that's like super robust and full of creativity. So there's not that hard, intense frequency that's being pushed out to our clients, and that's the feminine department of the company.
But the operations, though,
is super intense.
It's super intense. I go there, I'm like, never mind.
It's super
Get
intense.
me out of here.
We have to do surgery on people's homes and have deadlines and have materials and trucks and trailers and moving parts and guys
gosh.
busting their knuckles.
Every time I go there, I see something happening. I'm like, oh my gosh.
But it's just cool to see.
But you guys love it.
No,
the truck got stuck in the mud and you couldn't move the lift, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And even though you guys were stressed, like you're loving it, like, and it was raining. I'm there in the rain. I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Like, but it was so interesting to see what you guys do, and I respect that so much, and I love seeing, and homeowners and customers love seeing that harsh man group showing up to do the job.
Yeah,
right?
and the other thing too, because I'm thinking about these dingy girlfriends, not to hit on the dingy girlfriends, okay? But when you have a woman, the intuition you guys have, like when I get around certain people, you've told me, don't do business with this person. Don't do business with this person. Oh, this person you should do business with.
And you trust that, and you're like, I don't know how you knew this, right? But later on, you started like, you're right.
100 times out of 100, you were right. So that is the aspect that that women are bringing into the family business, the family legacy. So I think that as a culture, we have completely messed up the roles of femininity and masculinity and married woman versus girlfriend. Because I think every time we think about this dingy girl who's like super submissive, she's never the wife. She's always this 25, 29-year-old girlfriend.
So true. Being a wife is very different than being a girlfriend.
No, it's like put a ring on it and tell me that little dingy girl doesn't feel like. This is very important. Put a wedding ring on that dingy girl and tell me that she doesn't feel like she has some leverage now. Where a little bit different, she shifts. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer the little girlfriend that you can dispose anytime you want to. Now I got some skin in the game. Yep. I'm now part of the family legacy. I now have control of the assets. I now want to know what's going on, where you at, where you going. Mm-hmm. So don't you think that it's completely different?
Very. And that's it. And, what I want to tell people is that, obviously this is one podcast. There's so much more that we can talk about. But the greatest thing that you can do is, as a woman, embrace being a woman. Stop being ashamed. Stop being avoiding. Embrace the feminine aspects. Embrace being a mother. Embrace being a wife. Stop trying to be the husband. Like, believe me, you don't want to be the husband. You don't want to take lead on everything. You don't want to make the most money in the house. It's like, you don't want to do that. Believe me. And then for the guys, it's like, embrace being a man at all costs. Fight to be the man and to earn that, which in return is going to have your family look up to, respect you, and give you, and have your family be liked because of the things that you're doing, the harsh stuff that you're doing to get them there. And stop competing with each other. I think me and you have realized that. We stopped competing and we started separating departments that we're in charge of, taking pride in that, and flourishing those departments where we're no longer trying to compete with each other. I don't want to do the things that you're doing.
Yeah, we compartmentalize in our business. There's a feminine department and there's a masculine department,
and it's been so helpful. So yeah,
super cool. And if you're a guy out there watching this, get on testosterone, take estrogen blockers, go to the gym, get in the sauna, go cold plunge, eat right, stop eating shit. If you need to intermittent fast, and start understanding wealth, build a business, start leveling up, and escape the 9-to-5 as quickly as you can.
And women, encourage and embrace your man when he wants to do all those things. Like, believe me, you getting on testosterone was a game changer for you, for us, for all of us. It was amazing. It was just like, you going to the gym made everything so much better. You, like, all your stress, frustrations, you left at the gym, you start feeling more confident about yourself, you had more energy, all this stuff. So yeah, push. I think I've always pushed you to go that direction and become better on the things that I knew about. I didn't know about testosterone, right? But like going to the gym, I was always pushing you to do the stuff because I knew if you were happier in that aspect, it would return to me. Same thing you've done to me. You pushed me to embrace all those things because then I feel lighter. I have more purpose. I feel better. So it's like invest in one another. How can you become a better wife for your husband? How he can become a better husband to you? It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not, you step all over me and you do whatever you want. No, we talked about, but united, if you guys have that mission, united, you both flourish individually and together. And it's the best thing.
Well, you'll live an amazing life. So that's it. That's all. So make sure you give us a follow. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and continue for watching. Look out for the next episode.
Yes.
Have you ever wanted to start a business? I'm sure you have. Every guy I know either wants to start a business or he wants to figure out a way to make money, right? Because I think men want to provide, and but you don't know where to start. You don't know how to start, and most guys who start a business, they're either a technician where they just realize that they're going to do the work, and then they're like, I don't want to deal with all the other things that come with owning a business, and rightfully so, especially when you don't know how to do it. But when you're looking out, like we had a Marine reach out to us yesterday, me and Steven are at the cigar shop, and we're buying another truck for our company. Guy reaches out to me. I'm 40 years old, dude, and I realize that life is passing me by, and things that I thought were important are becoming way less important because I see you guys, I see your success, and I wish I'd have known the path. Well, what I'm here to tell you today is that we created the Man She Brags About mentorship, where you can come on board and you can learn how to grow and start a business with no money, and you can do it right the first time, which is to use other people's money, use consumers' money, and grow the business right, and then build a life that you're proud of. So if that's what you want to do, click the link below. Welcome back to the show.